Hello. This video is for IXL Activity 8.W.2. It's titled Write an Equation from Words. And I'm a little distracted there. I think that's supposed to be AN, not AND. So we're going to write an equation from words. The 3-character code for this is Foxtrot 6 Romeo. And we've done something similar to this in the past where we wrote expressions from words. The only difference is now they're going to be equations, so we're going to include the equal sign this time. I have a graphic organizer here to help us remember some of the words that we use for the 4 different operations. And for addition, plus sign here. Some of the words we use are sum, altogether, all, or how many in all, how many together, what is the total, what's the total number of, or to add. Next, we have subtraction by this little line here, minus sign. Words that we use for subtraction are words like minus, or greater than, more than, take away, like 5, take away 3, fewer than, like 3 fewer than 5, less than, 3 less than 5, or how many more, how many are left, how many less. Big one here, subtract. Or here's a really big one here, very common one. What is the difference of, or what is left? And then the next operation, multiplication by either the X or the dot. A lot of times we use no sign at all, right? Like 3X would be 3 times X, and there's no notification sign there, and we just know we're supposed to multiply. Words for that, we use words like product, or multiply, or multiplied by, and times. Division, we can use division sign, or we can use a fraction bar. And on this activity, you're going to be using the slash that's on your keyboard. The slash is the button just to the left of the shift key, the right shift key. If you find the shift key, it's on the right side of your keyboard. The next key over is a slash sign, and we can use that for a fraction bar in this activity. But words that we use for division are words like quotient, dividend, divide, 5 divided by, well, I guess that won't work out too well, not a whole number, 6 divided by 3. Each, how many for each? If we're breaking a group of something into equal size groups, we don't know how much each, you'd have to divide. We divide to find averages, or we divide equally. And then finally, this is not an operation, but it is equal, and it's by these 2 lines here is the symbol for it. And words that we used for the word equal, or phrases that we use, are the same as, or equals. Here it is, the same as right here, or is equal to, or equivalent. So we're going to use these keywords that we have in the phrases that we have, the verbal phrases of the equation. And then we're going to use those phrases to recognize what numbers and what operation symbols that we have to use and how all that's set up. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first one. Write the sentence as an equation. And it says 138 reduced by V is equal to 239. So we start taking this apart. 238 is reduced by V. This is something that we've seen before. And whenever we wrote expressions, and we know that that would be 38 reduced by V. So 138 reduced by is to subtract. What are we subtracting from 138? That would be a V. Next, we have the phrase is equal to. Well, this is going to be an equal sign, so we put an equal sign, and then we have 239. 239. So this would be our final answer here. We put in 138 minus y is equal to 239. It's just like translating a language. We're just taking one language of words and we're translating them into mathematical operation signs and numbers and variables, etc. The next one is write a sentence as an equation. 393 is the same as z decreased by 22. So z decreased by 22, well, which one are we taking away? Are we taking away 22 from z, or are we taking z away from 22? Well, z is what's being decreased, so that's what we want to take away. So that's going to be z minus 22. I guess I'll cross that Z there so we know it's a Z and not a 2, is the same as, well, that's an equal sign, right? And then we have the 393. So our final answer would be 393 is the same as Z decreased by subtraction 22. So we're not really doing any math or solving anything. We're just simply translating from one language over to another language, from the English language here and a verbal statement over to a mathematical language here and a mathematical statement. The next one, write the sentence as an equation. W is the sum of 65 and U. So let's go ahead. I kind of crossed over where the equal sign is supposed to be. W is. This is the equal sign word right there. Is. And we're going to use W. So we have W is the equal sign. And then the sum of 65 and U. And we know that sum means to add, right? So we have 65 plus U. So our final answer is W is the sum of 65 and U. Next one, write the sentence as an equation. W increased by 302 is the sum of 300 and Q. So W increased by 302. So that's increased by is to add. And we have 302. Is an equal sign. And then the sum of 300 and Q. So we know that sum means to add. So it's addition. And we're adding Q. So in the end, our final mathematical statement is going to be W plus 30 is the sum of 300 and Q. 300 plus Q. All right, here we have equal sign is, we're using the words is the same as, so this is our equal sign. So we'll bring down our 191. And B times 132. Kind of cover that up a little bit. We'll go back, fix that up. B times 132. Well, we could do BX 132, but we don't want to use this X sign as multiplication. We could do B, and why not? Because we don't want to confuse it with the variable X. So we're kind of past using the X sign as multiplication. We could do B dot 132. But remember that we could also write this as we could just leave the sign out altogether, put 132B, and we realize that this is multiplication between the value of 132 and whatever the variable B is. So we'll leave that as, and remember, we like our coefficients to come first. That's why we call those leading coefficients. So 132B, and now we have 191 is the same as, equal sign, as B times 132. And 132B is B times 132. So we'll put in 191 equals 132B. On the next one, write a sentence as an equation. The product, so product means to multiply, right? The product of W and 372. So 372 is going to be the coefficient of the variable W, and leading coefficients were made to come first, 372W. So the product of W and 372 reduced by 85. So we have to then reduce that 372W by 85. So that's minus. Reduce means to subtract. Going to subtract what? 85. And then equals, so that word is for our equal sign. And then we have the 59. So we'll tack that 59 on there. So whenever we get done here, we have 372 W minus 85 equals 59. And of course, if we were to work this out, remember, order of operations says that we have to first do the multiplication before the addition of the subtraction. So we don't really need any parentheses here around this 372W, showing that we're going to find the product of 372 and W first before we take away 85. So due to order operations, there's no need for the parentheses. Write the sentence as an equation. 72 divided by W. So divided by, so if we need to divide, we're going to use this fraction symbol here. Again, it is on your keyboard. It is just to the left of the shift key that is on the right side of the keyboard. So 72 divided by y. So 72 divided by y. Remember, every fraction is a division problem. Equals, so here's our equal sign there. And what's it equal? 276. And why I put the 7 first, I don't know. 276. All right, so whenever we type this in, we're going to use a fraction bar for this division bar. So 72, then the slash on the keyboard, divided by y equals 276. The quotient of k and 81. Now this is a tricky one because a lot of people forget what quotient means. Quotient means to divide. And we know that if we're going to divide, we're going to use that fraction bar, right? So the quotient of, and in this case, k comes first, so it's our numerator. So we'll put it at the top. Numerators go at the top, denominators go at the bottom. And 81. So 81 is our denominator. Equals, so this is where our equal sign goes. And now the quotient of, so we're going to divide again. So we need another fraction bar. Quotient of 311 comes first, so it is our numerator. The k comes second, that is our denominator. And we're good to go there. So we're going to put in k slash, for fraction bar, 81 equals 311 slash k. So again, we're using that slash bar on the keyboard to represent our fraction bar, which that works out for division because that's right, every fraction is a division problem. Last two problems here. The product of, so product means to multiply. The product is 76 in u, so that's going to be 76u. Decreased by, so this means to subtract, so I need a subtraction sign. 290, 290 is what we're decreasing it by. Equals, so this is where our equal bar goes. So you just work your way through it, and just like como estas, like what's up, and wo ist die Toiletten in German is where is the toilet. We're just taking what we got here in English and translating it over the math. Now we're doing b times 376, so it's multiplying, right? This is multiply. So we like the coefficient to be the leading coefficient, so we're going to put that first. So 367b reduced by 19. So reduced by means to subtract, so we're going to put a subtraction sign. What are we subtracting? We're subtracting 19. So in the end, we have 76u minus 290 equals 367b minus 19. One last problem here. The product, so product means to multiply. Product of what? J and 81. So we have 81j because we like our coefficients to come first. Increased by means to add, so let's throw an addition sign in there. Increased by what? 38. Where's the equal sign go? Well, it comes next because we have the word is. And then 36 fewer is subtraction, 36 fewer than the product of j and 385. So this is products multiplication, j and 385. So 385, we want the coefficient to come first. So 385j. But we have to have 386 fewer than that. Well, if I said, what is 3 fewer than 5, you would say, oh, 5 minus 3, right? So it's kind of like I said 3 fewer than 5. Notice I say 3 first, 5 second, but we actually end up flipping it around whenever we translate it. So we need to flip that around. We're taking away 386 from the product of j and 385. So the 385j is going to come first, and then we're going to subtract the 386. So our final answer would be 81j plus 38 equals 385j minus 386. And that's kind of running into all that there. We'll block that off there. So that's our final answer there. All right. So those are all of my examples for IXL 8.W.2. Write an equation from words. Good luck on your activity.